Did you know Oregon is home to a hidden underground river that flows beneath miles of solid lava? A desert basin so dry and flat, cowboys once raced horses across it at full gallop for miles without turning. And a lonely stretch of highway where travelers still stop to photograph a mysterious roadside shoe tree covered in hundreds of boots from passing wanderers. This is a land where more than half the state is rugged high desert, where wildfire, snowpack, and volcanic soil quietly control the fate of millions, and where frontier spirit still rides beneath the wide western skies. Before the first wagon crossed the Oregon Trail, before towns rose and fell, this land was already shaping legends. A wild stage of fire, wind, water, and strange stories waiting to be told. Did you know Oregon has a desert where cars race across a dry lake bed at airplane speeds? A coastline where ancient lava built black cathedrals of stone? And a mountain range so remote cowboys still outnumber people? This is not the Oregon you think you know. This is the wild, unpredictable frontier where geology goes rogue, history turns strange, and nature rewrites reality itself. Welcome to a land of fire, ice, storm, and stories carved straight into the earth. Let's step into the unbelievable. Number 1. Oregon sits on the edge of one of the most dangerous volcanic chains in North America. Beneath the Cascades, the Juan de Fuca Plate dives under the continent, melting into magma that feeds towering giants like Mount Hood, Mount Jefferson, and Three Sisters. These volcanoes are not extinct, only sleeping. Scientists monitor them constantly because even a minor eruption could reshape the landscape, bury valleys in ash, and disrupt the entire Pacific Northwest. The peak looks peaceful, snow-covered and majestic, but deep below, molten rock still moves. Oregon isn't just scenic, it's geologically alive. Number 2. In southeast Oregon lies a cracked white desert called the Alvord Playa, a dry lakebed so flat and smooth it looks artificial. When summer heat dries the surface, drivers begin racing cars, motorcycles, and even homemade rocket machines to chase land speed records across its endless horizon. With Steens Mountain towering 5,000 feet above, the landscape feels like another planet, silent, empty, and surreal. Mirage waves simmer in the heat, bending reality. Cowboys once crossed this basin by horse. Today, engines roar across the same earth where water once ruled. Oregon hides its own salt-flat speed kingdom. Number 3. Unlike sandy tropical shores, Oregon's coastline was born from lava. Millions of years ago, massive volcanic eruptions spilled molten rock into the Pacific, cooling into towering basalt cliffs, sea stacks, and jagged headlands. Storm waves carved caves, arches, and blowholes into the hardened stone, creating one of the most dramatic coastlines in the world. When winter storms roll in, waves explode against black rock walls with explosive force. The ocean here doesn't whisper, it crashes, roars, and reshapes the land. Oregon's coast isn't gentle, it's a battlefield between water and fire. Number 4. Long before cowboys and sagebrush, Eastern Oregon lay beneath a prehistoric sea. Fossils of ancient marine creatures still emerge from desert rock, proof that waves once rolled where tumbleweeds now drift. Over millions of years, volcanic eruptions buried this seafloor under ash and lava, lifting it high into today's rugged plateau. The transformation is staggering. Ocean to desert, water to dust. Stand in Oregon's high desert and you're standing on an ancient ocean bed, lifted thousands of feet into the sky by forces beyond imagination. Number 5. The Three Sisters Mountains aren't just scenic. They tell 3 different volcanic stories. North Sister is ancient and heavily eroded. Middle sister is older but still rugged. And South sister is the youngest and most dangerous. Beneath South sister, scientists have detected rising magma swelling underground, hinting at possible future eruptions. Lava flows, obsidian fields, and ash deposits surround the peaks like frozen explosions. Each sister represents a chapter of volcanic evolution, carved across hundreds of thousands of years. This isn't just a mountain range, it's Earth's timeline, written in fire. Number 6. Eastern Oregon's outback stretches across millions of acres of sagebrush, canyonlands, and remote valleys where towns are separated by hours of empty road. In some counties, cattle outnumber people 10 to 1, and working cowboys still herd across open range just like the Old West. The silence here is immense, broken only by wind, hoofbeats, and distant thunder. Night skies explode with stars, unfiltered by city lights. This isn't the green Oregon of postcards. It's raw frontier, vast and untamed, where geography and Western culture still ride side by side. Number 7. The Columbia River Gorge wasn't shaped slowly. It was violently carved by Ice Age megafloods. When ancient glacial lakes burst, walls of water hundreds of feet high surged across the Northwest, ripping through rock and sculpting cliffs, waterfalls, and valleys in days. The force was so extreme it moved boulders the size of houses and stripped landscapes bare. Today, wind howls through the gorge like a reminder of those ancient floods. What looks peaceful now was once one of the most violent geological events in North America. Number 8. In Central Oregon, the Badlands look like a sun-blasted alien terrain of twisted lava, cracked clay, and ancient juniper trees. Hidden beneath the soil are fossils of rhinos, camels, and saber-toothed predators that roamed here millions of years ago. Volcanic eruptions preserve these remains in ash, freezing prehistoric life in stone. Walk these dusty trails and you're stepping through a vanished world, long before forest, long before cowboys, long before humans ever touched this land. Number 9. Before highways and railroads, rivers were Oregon's lifelines. The Deschutes, Rogue, and Snake Rivers carved deep canyons and powered logging camps, gold mining towns, and frontier settlements. Steamboats once pushed upstream carrying supplies into the wild interior. Today, whitewater rafters ride the same roaring currents where pioneers once gambled survival. The rivers remain powerful, untamed, and central to Oregon's identity. A reminder that water shaped both the land and its history. Number 10. Each winter, storms bury Oregon's mountains in deep snow, sometimes exceeding 40 feet in a single season. This snowpack acts like a frozen reservoir, slowly melting into rivers that supply water to millions across the Pacific Northwest. Without it, farms would dry, cities would struggle, and ecosystems would collapse. The snow may look peaceful, glittering under sunlight, but it quietly controls life across the region. Oregon's winters don't just decorate the mountains, they sustain the entire landscape. Number 11. Northwest Oregon's Wallowa Valley was sculpted by massive glaciers that carved deep U-shaped valleys and left behind crystal alpine lakes. Early settlers called the jagged peaks the Alps of Oregon, stunned by their steep granite walls and snow-capped ridges. Today, elk roam open meadows while cowboys still work ranches below towering mountains. The scenery feels more like Switzerland than the American West. But this is Oregon, shaped by ancient ice and frontier grit. Number 12. Western Oregon's temperate rainforest grows giants. Towering Douglas fir, Sitka spruce, and western red cedars can exceed 300 feet tall, among the tallest trees on the planet. Constant rain, rich volcanic soil, and mild temperatures create perfect growing conditions. Some trees here began growing before Columbus reached America. Walking beneath them feels like entering a cathedral of living pillars. Oregon's forests aren't just woods, they are towering monuments to time itself. Number 13. The Rogue River remains one of the few major rivers in America still largely untamed by dams. It slices through deep canyons, dense forests, and remote wilderness, creating a wild corridor where bears, eagles, and salmon thrive. Gold miners once flooded its banks during the 1800s rush, chasing fortune through rugged terrain. Today, rafters battle its rapids, while fishermen cast into currents unchanged for centuries. The Rogue River lives up to its name: unpredictable, powerful, and fiercely free. Number 14. When Pacific storms collide with mountain ranges, Oregon's skies erupt. Coastal tempests bring hurricane-force winds and waves towering higher than buildings, while inland, thunderstorms crack across desert plateaus with explosive lightning. Snowstorms bury mountain passes. Fog swallows entire coastlines. Weather here doesn't just change, it transforms landscapes overnight. Oregon's beauty is dramatic because its weather is dramatic, unpredictable, powerful, and sometimes overwhelming. Number 15. In central Oregon, ancient lava flows hardened into vast black fields of jagged rock called basalt. Some flows stretch for miles, frozen rivers of stone from eruptions thousands of years ago. These rough terrains once blocked rivers, redirected landscapes, and reshaped ecosystems. Today, they look like alien ground, sharp, silent, and endless. Beneath the surface, caves and tunnels twist through solidified lava, remnants of molten rivers that once glowed bright as the sun. Number 16. Scattered across Oregon's high mountains are hundreds of remote alpine lakes, many accessible only by long hikes or horseback. Some are crystal clear, reflecting jagged peaks like mirrors. Others glow turquoise from mineral-rich waters. Snow often lingers here deep into summer, and silence dominates the thin mountain air. These lakes were carved by glaciers and fed by melting snowpack, hidden gems tucked into Oregon's rugged backbone. Number 17. Even today, parts of Oregon feel untouched by time. Ranchers ride horseback across open range. Rodeos draw crowds under desert sunsets. Old barns, weathered fences, and dusty roads still define rural life. In remote towns, stories of gold rush days, cattle drives, and frontier survival remain part of daily culture. Oregon is modern, but its western soul still rides strong, rooted deep in the land shaped by fire, ice, and endless sky. Did you know Oregon has a mountain where a stone castle stands above a glacier-carved canyon like something stolen from Europe? A beach where the sand literally sings under your boots, and a highway where you can drive from rainforest to desert in a single day and feel like you crossed 3 planets. This is Oregon when it stops being pretty and starts being impossible. A frontier of outlaw weather, volcanic secrets, cowboy backroads, and roadside weariness that dares you to blink. Let's keep going. Number 18. On parts of Oregon's coast, certain dunes can produce a strange booming or squeaking sound when dry sand slides in just the right way. Locals call it singing sand, and when you run downhill or a gust triggers a sand sheet, you can hear a ghostly vibration like the ground is humming. The science points to uniform grains rubbing in sync, but standing there, it feels like the earth is whispering. And in wind that never stops and sky that changes every 5 minutes, you've got a natural instrument tuned by the Pacific. Number 19. Mount Hood looks like a postcard until you realize it's draped with glaciers, moving rivers of ice that grind rock into powder and feed cold streams below. Even in summer, its upper slopes stay brutally alpine, with crevasses, sudden whiteouts, and ice fall zones that can shift overnight. Climbers treat it with respect because this is not a friendly mountain. It's a living system of ice, wind, and gravity. From the foothills, it's majestic. Up close, It's a frozen time machine, sculpting Oregon one grain of stone at a time. Number 20. Eastern Oregon isn't just open rangeland. Part of it twists in labyrinths like canyon country where rivers slice through layered basalt and desert plants cling to cliffs like they're defying physics. Some canyons are so remote, you can hike all day and hear nothing but hawks and wind, the kind of silence that makes your own footsteps sound loud. Ranch roads snake along ridges like old cattle routes, and the land feels cinematic. Big sky, rugged rock, and that frontier feeling that something wild is always just over the next bend. Number 21. Hidden in Oregon's forests are waterfalls that don't just fall, they echo. In certain basalt amphitheaters, sound bounces around like you're inside a stone cathedral, turning a simple cascade into a full-body experience. Mist hangs in the air, moss glows electric green, and the temperature drops like someone opened a freezer door in the woods. You can feel the geology, ancient lava hardened into columns, then cracked and carved by relentless water. Oregon doesn't just do waterfalls as scenery, sometimes it does them like sacred places. Number 22. Oregon has stretches of beach where the sand turns dark, nearly black, because it's rich in volcanic minerals like magnetite and other heavy grains. Under cloudy skies, it can look like you're walking on spilled ink. When sunlight hits, the grains glitter like crushed metal. It's the Cascades and coastal volcano history showing up at the shoreline, a reminder that this coast wasn't built from tropical shells. It was forged from fire and ground down by storms. And when waves roll in over black sand, the whole scene feels unreal and cinematic. Number 23. Oregon's headlands aren't just dramatic cliffs. They're launch ramps for wind, and wind is a highway for birds. In migration seasons, raptors ride the updrafts, seabirds cut through gusts like fighter jets, and the sky becomes a moving map. Sometimes you'll see bald eagles posted like sentries above the surf, scanning water that looks calm until it suddenly detonates into white spray. On the ground, the trail may feel peaceful. Above you, the air is busy, nature running a high-speed operation on invisible currents. Number 24. In parts of Oregon, the ground is a blend of ancient seabed sediments, volcanic ash, and basalt. Basically a gourmet recipe for vineyards. In the Willamette Valley, certain hillsides drain water perfectly, hold heat just right, and push vines to struggle in a way that concentrates flavor. That's why Oregon became world famous for Pinot Noir, even though it sits way up in the rainy latitude. The magic isn't just climate, it's geology. You're tasting old volcanoes, ancient floods, and ocean history, bottled like a liquefied field report. Number 25. Out in Oregon's high desert, far from city glow, the night sky becomes a ceiling of stars so dense it almost feels painted on. The Milky Way shows up like a bright, dusty river, obvious, massive, impossible to ignore. Coyotes yip in the distance, wind rattles dry grass, and you realize how frontier this state still is. Cowboys use these stars like a compass. Today, stargazers use them like therapy. Oregon's deserts aren't just empty, they're cosmic, the kind of place that makes you feel small in the best way. Number 26. Scattered across Oregon are geothermal hot springs, some developed, some hidden, where streaming water rises from deep underground heat like the earth is exhaling. In winter, the contrast is ridiculous. Snow on the ground, steam in the air, and you're soaking in mineral water while pine trees drip frost around you. The springs exist because Oregon's crust is thin and active, with heat close to the surface. It's the same story as the volcanoes, just in a softer form. Oregon doesn't always erupt. Sometimes it just shimmers. Number 27. Oregon's shoreline isn't stable. It's constantly being rebuilt by storms. One brutal winter can erase sections of beach, topple trees into the surf, and expose rock shelves that were buried for years. Then, calmer seasons can redeposit sand and make it look like nothing happened. It's like watching geology and fast forward. People come back to their favorite viewpoint and swear the land moved, because it did. On this coast, permanent is a myth. The Pacific is always remodeling, and it never asks for permission. Number 28. Drive through parts of eastern Oregon and you'll cross pale flats and shallow basins that look empty until you realize they're the fingerprints of ancient lakes. Long ago, water pooled here in massive inland seas that evaporated as climate shifted, leaving behind alkaline soils, cracked surfaces, and strange plant communities that thrive in harsh chemistry. The land still holds the shape of shorelines, gentle curves, and terraces like ghost beaches. It's a subtle kind of weird, the kind you only notice when you realize you're driving across what used to be open water. Number 29. In some corners of Oregon, Western culture isn't a theme, it's a working reality. You'll find feed stores, cattle auctions, long stretches of fence line, and roads where you slow down for livestock because the land still belongs to ranching. Rodeo arenas pop up like small town stadiums, and the rhythm of life follows seasons: hay cutting, branding, calving, and winter prep. Geography makes it this way. Wide basins, high plateaus, and tough terrain that rewards grit. Oregon's frontier didn't vanish, it just kept going, quietly under big skies. Number 30. Oregon is one of those rare states where a single day's drive can take you from temperate rainforest to volcanic peaks to sagebrush desert. You start under dripping moss and massive evergreens, climb into snow country with sharp air and alpine views, then drop into sun-baked terrain where dust devils dance and juniper clings to rock. The transition feels impossible, like you changed state lines without noticing. But it's real, thanks to mountain rain shadows and elevation changes that flip the environment like a switch. Oregon is basically three worlds stacked together. Number 31. Oregon's ocean water stays cold year-round, and that one fact controls the entire coastal ecosystem. Cold water means nutrient-rich upwelling, which fuels explosive marine life, plankton blooms, fish runs, and seabird feeding frenzies. It also means fog, sharp winds, and that bone-deep chill, even on sunny days. The coast looks inviting until you step into the water and your body goes, "Absolutely not!" This isn't a tropical surf paradise. It's a wild, cold engine of life, powering the entire edge of the state like a living machine. Number 32. In parts of Oregon's lava country, you can find columnar basalt, rock that cooled in geometric cracks, forming tall hexagonal pillars like nature was doing architecture. Some cliffs look like pipe organs, stacked perfectly, so cleanly shaped it feels fake. But it's just physics. Lava, cooling, contracting, splitting into repeated patterns. Stand below those columns and you feel tiny, like you're under a giant stone instrument carved by a volcano. Oregon has entire walls like this, proof that the planet can build with a precision that humans spend centuries trying to copy. Number 33. Oregon's logging history is massive, and in many places forests have returned after being cut a century ago. But here's the twist. Because conditions are so good, those new forests can still feel enormous, dense, and ancient. Trees shoot up fast, moss returns like a blanket, and ferns reclaim the ground until the woods look timeless again. You can walk through a stand that's not even old by forest standards and still feel swallowed by green. Oregon's land has a strange resilience, scarred, then reborn, sometimes faster than your brain expects. Number 34. Oregon's backroads are famous for their "what did I just see?" energy. Quirky roadside statues, bizarre local museums, handmade signs bragging about pie or jerky like it's the world championship, and odd little detours that feel like dares. In rural towns, weirdness becomes a badge of honor. Part humor, part frontier creativity, part we're making our own fun out here. It's the roadside retraction barker spirit baked into geography. Long drives, big spaces, and communities that know a little spectacle keeps the world paying attention. Did you know Oregon holds a valley where winter ice traps cold air so deep temperatures can plunge like the Arctic? A stretch of ocean where whales migrate past black cliffs like silent giants? And a wilderness so vast you can walk for days and never cross a road? This is Oregon at full power. Raw, untamed, mysterious, where geology, weather, and frontier spirit collide. The deeper you go, the stranger it gets. Let's finish the journey. Number 35. Eastern Oregon sits along the northern edge of the Great Basin, where dry air and open land allow temperatures to swing wildly. Summer afternoons can climb past 100 degrees Fahrenheit only to plunge near freezing before sunrise. Without moisture to trap heat, the desert breathes fast, scorching by day, icy by night. Ranchers and cowboys learned long ago to respect this rhythm, riding under blazing sun and bedding down beneath frost. It's a land of extremes, where survival has always depended on reading the sky and knowing the land. Number 36. Every year, gray whales migrate along Oregon's coastline, traveling thousands of miles between Arctic feeding grounds and warm breeding lagoons. From cliffside viewpoints, you can sometimes see spouts rising like drifting smoke above the waves. The ocean looks empty until suddenly a 40-ton giant surfaces, rolls, and disappears again. For coastal communities, whale watching is tradition, spectacle, and reminder that Oregon's coast is part of a much bigger world, a living ocean corridor stretching from Mexico to Alaska. Number 37. Most Pacific storms dump rain on Oregon's western mountains, but by the time clouds cross the Cascades, most moisture is gone. What remains is dry air. And that's why eastern Oregon becomes desert, the rain shadow effect created by sagebrush plains, volcanic plateaus, and sun-baked valleys that look nothing like the lush west. It's one of the sharpest climate contrasts in America. Rainforest to desert in just a few hours of travel, all because mountains stole the rain. Number 38. The John Day River flows free for over 280 miles, carving deep canyonlands through colorful rock and fossil-rich hills. Large stretches remain roadless wilderness, where rafters float past silent cliffs and golden eagles circle overhead. Cowboys once trailed cattle along these ridges, and gold prospectors dug in these hills chasing dreams. Today, the river remains wild, unchanged, and deeply peaceful, a living relic of Oregon before modern roads carved up the land. Number 39. Climb into Oregon's volcanic plateaus and the land flattens into wide, wind-swept expanses that feel elevated above everything else. Juniper trees twist against constant wind, and distant mountains hover on the horizon like mirages. These highlands were built by ancient lava flows that spread across the region like molten oceans before cooling into stone. Stand here and you feel the scale, endless sky, endless land. Oregon stretches wide and open. Number 40. Along Oregon's coast, fog rolls in like a living blanket, feeding forests even during dry months. Moisture condenses on needles and drips into soil, sustaining giant spruce and cedar trees. Without fog, these forests would struggle. It's silent irrigation, invisible, constant, essential. When fog wraps the coastline, visibility shrinks, sound softens, and the world feels suspended between sea and sky. Oregon's coastal magic often arrives as mist. Number 41. Fire has always been part of Oregon's ecology. Lightning storms ignite forests, clearing old growth and allowing new life to emerge. Some trees even depend on fire to release seeds. But modern megafires can rage across thousands of acres, reshaping entire valleys and skies. Smoke can turn daylight orange, and ash can fall like snow. Fire is destructive, but also regenerative, part of the natural cycle that has shaped Oregon's forests for thousands of years. Number 42. Drive the Steens Mountain loop, and you'll climb through millions of years of Earth's history stacked in visible layers. Ancient lava, sediment, and uplifted rock reveal the planet's shifting story. At the summit, the land drops dramatically into desert below, one of the sharpest escarpments in North America. The view stretches forever. Desert floor, distant mountains, sky swallowing everything. It feels less like a scenic drive and more like standing on the edge of geology itself. Number 43. Across forests and valleys, elk herds migrate seasonally in massive groups, flowing across the land like a slow-moving tide. At dawn or dusk, hundreds can appear in open meadows, silent, watchful, powerful. Early settlers depended on these animals for survival, and today they remain icons of Oregon's wilderness. When the bugle of a bull elk echoes across a valley in autumn, it sounds ancient, like a voice from before humans arrived. Number 44. Winter storms off Oregon's coast can generate waves towering over 6-story buildings. These storms slam into basalt cliffs with explosive force, shaking the ground and sending spray hundreds of feet into the air. Lighthouses were built here not for beauty, but survival. Mariners feared this coast for centuries. When storms rage, the Pacific doesn't look blue and calm. It looks iron gray, violent, and unstoppable. Number 45. Scattered across deserts, forests, and mountains are dozens of abandoned settlements, mining camps, logging towns, railroad stops, places that boomed, then vanished. Some still have standing buildings, rusted equipment, and empty streets frozen in time. Wind whistles through broken windows and sagebrush creeps over old roads. These ghost towns are reminders of Oregon's frontier gamble, where geography could make or break entire communities overnight. Number 46. Millions of birds pass through the Klamath Basin each year, making it one of the most important migration stops in North America. Pelicans, cranes, ducks, and geese fill wetlands and skies during seasonal movements. At peak migration, the sound of wings and calls can feel overwhelming, like the sky itself is alive. These wetlands exist because volcanic basins trapped water long ago, creating a perfect sanctuary in an otherwise dry region. Number 47. Salmon return from the Pacific Ocean to rivers in epic migrations, swimming hundreds of miles upstream to spawn. They leap waterfalls, fight currents, and complete one of nature's greatest endurance journeys. For indigenous creatures and early settlers alike, salmon were life, food, trade, survival. Even today, their return signals the health of rivers and ecosystems. Oregon's rivers aren't just water, they're migration routes written into instinct. Number 48. Wagon wheels carved ruts across Oregon's land as pioneers pushed westward in the 1800s. Harsh deserts, steep mountains, and unpredictable weather tested every traveler. Many never made it, but those who did built farms, towns, and communities that became modern Oregon. You can still see original trail remnants etched into the ground, scars of one of America's greatest migrations, where geography decided fate. Number 49. Huge areas of Oregon remain roadless wilderness, forests, mountains, and deserts where humans rarely tread. You can hike for days without seeing another person, crossing rivers, ridges, and valleys shaped only by nature. Wolves, bears, and cougars roam these lands quietly. The wilderness is part of Oregon's identity, not just protected, but alive and untamed. Number 50. Oregon's story is written in lava flows, glacier scars, raging rivers, and stone-carved coastlines. Fire built its mountains, water carved its valleys. Time shaped everything else. From volcanic peaks to desert basins, from cowboy country to crashing ocean. Oregon is a land constantly evolving. Never still, never ordinary. Every landscape holds a deeper story, and every horizon hints at something older, wilder, and bigger than us. Oregon is not just a place, it's a force. A land where mountains breathe, rivers carve, storms roar, and deserts whisper. A land where cowboys still ride, volcanoes still sleep, and the Pacific still shapes the edge of the world. You don't just visit Oregon, you feel it, you remember it, and long after you leave, part of you is still standing beneath those endless skies, waiting for the next wild story to rise from the earth.